Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Spark from Calling Real People. I'm Jay Chambers, and today we're joined by the amazing Kevin from Treefort Lifestyles over in Oregon. So we're going to be talking to him about the brand and just finding out a bit more about his creative process and when his spark happened. So Kev, thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's so cool to actually finally jump up. So like a bit of our backstory, like we connected through social media. Was it just at the beginning of the pandemic?
Yeah, I believe so, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so like we connected during the pandemic, and like we've been talking back and forth just about like life and creativity, and I really like what you're doing with Treefort, so I thought we'd get you on here just to kind of obviously showcase what you do and also showcase the mind behind it. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what is Treefort Lifestyles?
Yeah, so Treefort Lifestyles is an outdoor-inspired lifestyle brand, and we're based here in the Pacific Northwest of the US in Oregon. And you know, lifestyle brand can really range in a lot of ways. Most people, I think, kind of consider it to be like an apparel brand, a lifestyle brand, but ours is just more based off of our lifestyle and how we've lived, and then just creating products around that to fit into that and to help us in our day-to-day life.
That's so dope. You can tell like the way that you guys have kind of handled it and put it together, even in the output, it seems very you. Like it doesn't seem like Treefort's trying to be something that it isn't. So in order to get there, like what was the spark that made you think I need to create a lifestyle brand?
Well, it was really funny. We didn't think we were gonna create a lifestyle brand at the beginning. We pretty much saw this problem in skiing and snowboarding, which all these kids had big baggy pants and were trying to hold them up. So we like redesigned a pair of suspenders to hold up the pants. And when we did that, we right away were like, we don't wanna be like a skiing and snowboarding brand. We wanna be something that's bigger and broader, and we don't wanna compete with all these outerwear brands or different niche brands in the ski and snowboard industry. So we just decided to label ourselves a lifestyle brand at that point. And in that, it kind of directed us away from building like specific things for skiing and snowboarding. So we just really wanted to gear our future stuff away from skiing and snowboarding and athletics, and more follow what the people in those sports were doing off and on the hill, I guess, but more off the hill. Like I'd say the biggest thing was like the spark was figuring out that there was a product that needed to be built that all of our friends could use.
Would you say that the spark is the same as the purpose then for the brand? Because it seems like that's what you guys do. You're constantly creating things that people need. Like one thing that I really liked about the brand was immediately during the pandemic, you began to produce masks, and you know, you were sending them to people. You did a lot of charitable stuff with that. Do you want to kind of talk to us about the purpose of the brand and also some of that stuff too?
Yeah, well, the purpose is basically just to re-envision products that have features that generally fall short in this world, right? So, you know, a lot of stuff has just been like built from one thing to the next and never really like re-envisioned. It might just be like, oh, we added this or we added this. And you know, sometimes that's really amazing, because for the mask, for instance, all we had to do was add a necklace and it made it way better than the rest of them, right? So those type of things are very, very fun for me. And I really like the idea of figuring out what I want and need, and then I design it and then see if people really, really like it, you know?
So with Treefort and the different items that you create, what is the production process?
You know, the first part is inspiration. So that can come from anywhere, and that tends to be me just trying to like live my life and not necessarily spend it all in the office. So if it's hiking, biking, working, like if I'm working a job and I see a product that could be made, like that inspires me, you know what I mean? So getting myself out of the office is huge, I'd say, for me. But the design process or the manufacturing process is really starts here in the shop once I get an idea. And then I manufacture it on my own, create a prototype, and then I go out and use it as much as I can. And I try to find like the things that I don't like about it that can be taken away. That's probably like the biggest thing, because I put everything into the first design and then it's just like take things away. I usually make like 10 prototypes before I get to like a final design.
That's mad. So then when you've made the final design, do you kind of keep hold of those prototypes? Because that's part of your story, right? Like, do you keep them?
Yeah, I definitely keep them. And oftentimes, like from that stage too, most every time actually, I'll make a batch of 10 once I have that design. And then once I have that batch of 10, then I can get it out to some people. Some people will buy it. Maybe I'll send it to some influencer style people to see what they think of it, get some feedback. And then if it feels good, you know, then I'll start working on trying to find manufacturing for it at that point.
I'm always kind of like envious of those skills, like where you can see something and you're like, okay, I see there's a gap there and I just know how to make it. Like, what does that feel like?
Well, in the end, it feels great. But in the beginning, it's kind of like a, oh geez, what am I about to get myself into type of feeling, because man, it's a brutal process kind of, because you're taking something that you've seen in your mind and just really trying to make it physical, and those don't match like you imagine them to, and it just gets really frustrating, you know. It's like, it's also exhausting and brutal, and I think that's kind of like what a lot of us in this realm of entrepreneurship really feed off of. It's not instant gratification by any means, you know?
Yeah. How would you say, so in terms of the energy and feeding off, how have you had to adapt that kind of energy and that kind of focus with lockdown? Because I assume that with lockdown and people not being able to be active in terms of sports and doing the things that people around the brand usually do, there was some sort of impact with that with the brand, right?
Well, we're trying to figure out like how to handle it, you know what I mean? Because I thought it was gonna be locked down for me completely too, where I'm just gonna not see anyone, which I don't really see anyone here anyways, but not really see anyone and just stick in my shop and create things basically to put content up on Instagram. It wasn't even to sell the things I was creating. And that was like really, really scary in the sense of, there goes the whole business, but at the same time, all Treefort really needs to survive is me and a sewing machine. So I knew we were good still. It was just scary because things were gonna have to take a huge change. And I didn't wanna profit off the pandemic. That was a weird feeling thing, but I also didn't wanna lose my business. So one of the things that I decided was, how can I really help people if I'm gonna make masks? So there was a few things that I did. The main one that I'm the most proud of is when we made our first big batch of masks. I think we made 6,000 units. I directly donated 6,000 paper masks to hospitals that couldn't get them. And actually the hospital that I donated it to was one that saved my life when I was a youth. So that was like really, really cool. And my dad works at that hospital too, so that was really, really cool to like give back to this hospital that had helped me so much. On top of that, there was just tons of connection building, and I'm super into reggae music, and specifically Jamaican reggae music. And you know, having a decent sized Instagram account, I was able to like reach out to some of the people who I look up to the most, and I was seeing that they were all wearing paper masks, and I don't know, there's something about the trash with the paper masks that I didn't really like. So I was just offering, yo, if you guys want some Treefort masks, I'd be really excited to send them down to you. And so I actually got a bunch of masks into Jamaica, a bunch of bags as well, and like t-shirts and stuff like that to people who I really look up to, which was really fun just to give value to someone when I felt like there wasn't much that could happen on this end. It was really, really cool.
Man, that's so nice of you to do. And also, I think what I really like about Treefort is that it just seems genuine. Like, there are a lot of brands that are out there that particularly created masks and did these things during the pandemic, but the fact that you do a lot of, you know, background stuff in terms of connecting with people, in terms of the charitable work, you don't necessarily always shout about it as well. You just do it in the background. I really, really respect that, and it's great, man. So what I wanted to do as well, because obviously Treefort's amazing, but obviously you're an amazing person as well. So I just want to kind of ask you about you. So tell us about you. Who is Kevin?
I'm Kevin Perrin. I am owner, operator, and founder of Treefort Lifestyle products. Outside of Treefort, I am an outdoorsman. I'm an athlete. I'm a skier. I love music. I'm a designer. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades kind of guy. Like, I can sew, weld, hammer nails, you name it. I love doing stuff with my hands. That's basically it. I'm a creative. I love filming, photography. I wish I could make music, but I DJ music so other people can make sure to hear the good stuff.
You do so much, bro.
Yeah, we'll call it that. I'm a do-it-yourselfer.
I like that, and it shows with Treefort. So with there was something you said there that was really interesting about making things with your hands. Do you think that that's because of the environment that you're in? Obviously, being in Oregon and the kind of environment that you are, because you live quite rurally, right? Do you think that you needed to learn that from a young age?
So environmental, like growing up, that's huge. Environmental, secondly, is like as I got out of high school and stuff, I really got into skiing and snowboarding and like got involved in the scene. And all the people who are like at that higher level, they're all creative. They've all found their own way. They're all getting paid off of their own work. You're all self-motivated and you're always fixing your own problems. So that was another huge thing.
I like that ethos, fixing your own problems with your own hands. Obviously the brand, and what was the point when you knew that Treefort was a solid idea? I know you mentioned, was it the time when you realized that the bags and the suspenders was kind of thing? Or would you say that was the moment when you realized it was solid?
I'd say there was like two huge ones, and that being one of them. The first one's just suspenders. Making the suspenders, you know that feeling when like things just start clicking, like everything clicks, you know, and you're like, oh, we could make those. And then it's like, well, if we did this with this piece, then that fits this chest strap on. And it just felt like every idea just like fit into the next one. So that was like this huge sparking period of like, oh my God, we need to put a name to this brand because this design is really good. And that feeling is just like the ultimate generator. It was like another huge light went off and it was like, oh my God, we actually have a product that can go very broad instead of very niche. And it comes out of something very niche, which is beautiful. That's how the best things start, I believe.
Something that stuck with me from the Treefort journey is the idea of creating something from nothing. So how do you manage that? How do you manage the balance of dreams and goals? Like starting this company and wanting it to blow up and keeping it going. How do you keep reinventing it to pursue your goals?
Yeah, I have a lot of goals and a lot of dreams, and I kind of separate those two a little bit. Like goals are very tangible for me. They're the things that I like map out and put like my effort towards. And then I have all these dreams, right? And they're very varied. So they don't necessarily fall in line of what I'm doing today. It might be something very future oriented. But I believe that if I reach my goals, my dreams will be achieved. So I work really hard at putting my head down and getting to work on what I think needs to be done to get to the next step. The basics of it is to support myself and the people around us. And I think that the coolest thing is having this platform, Treefort as a platform, to like put people on.
It's been so great chatting with you, Kevin. I really appreciate your time. So my final question for you then is, what is one bit of advice that you wish you had early on in your career?
Ooh, tough one. I'd probably say that you're not what you're told you are.
That's such a bar. I love that. Go on, explain.
So I'd say that's like my biggest thing is like whatever you feel you are is what you are and what you should go after. And we have this whole lineup of where we're supposed to go in our life. And I feel that if I would have started working on what I felt I was in high school, like I wouldn't have gone to college, which I'm grateful for because I learned about myself and all this stuff, but I would have been working on it. You know what I mean? It's like if I would have known I'm a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy and a creative, I would have gone for it. But I didn't even think I was a creative individual during high school. I thought I was just a bad student, an athlete, you know what I mean? Those type of things. But really, once you do something like this, you kind of instill some self-confidence, and it really is crazy. So I think that's one of the things I want to do in the future too, is really just talk to the youth. And also that's probably why I put this platform out there for people. I want to encourage people just to do what they want to do. And if they're actually truly motivated behind it, they will continue to follow through with just that little bit of a nudge, you know?
Dude, it's been great chatting to you. You're so inspirational. I really rate what you're doing. I really rate the platform of Treefort.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of the support that you've always shown me. It's much appreciated, bro, but thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on here and asking the right questions. It's always fun to explain what I'm doing, and yeah, thank you very much.
Yo, thanks Kevin for joining us. This is The Spark with Calling Real People. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. More content coming soon for your head tops. Peace.